Hook, the hidden power of words. Have you ever stopped to think, just one sentence can bring joy, or it can bring suffering? It sounds almost unbelievable, doesn't it? Yet, every day, each word we speak carries an invisible weight. Some words linger in the hearts of others like sunlight, warming, encouraging, inspiring. Others, though small, leave shadows, causing pain that may last far longer than we expect. Let me tell you a story. In a quiet village, there lived an elderly man. Life hadn't been easy for him. He had faced hardships that could have hardened anyone's heart. And yet, every morning, he would step out of his modest home, greet his neighbors with a gentle smile, and speak kind words to anyone he met. A simple, heartfelt good morning, or a small encouragement to a worried neighbor. That was all. But you could see it on the faces of those he spoke to. Their tension melted, their burdens felt lighter. What was the secret? It wasn't the eloquence of his speech. It wasn't the grandeur of his ideas. It was something much simpler, yet infinitely more profound. His words came from a calm, open heart. There was no anger, no frustration, no hidden agenda. Just kindness, sincerity, and a deep awareness of the impact his words could have. In Buddhism, the teachings remind us that our speech is a powerful source of blessing or harm. The Buddha said that words are like seeds. Those sown with care and compassion grow into joy, while careless or harsh words may sprout suffering. In other words, the words we speak are never neutral. They carry energy. They shape the world around us and, even more importantly, they shape our own hearts. Think about your own day. How many words slipped from your mouth without thought? How many lifted someone up? How many unintentionally caused tension or hurt? And now imagine if every word you spoke was mindful, kind, and deliberate. Imagine the ripple effect, not just on the people you encounter, but on your own sense of peace. Your words would not just communicate, they would cultivate blessings. This isn't a lofty ideal. It's practical. Try this small experiment. Tomorrow morning, greet someone with genuine warmth. Speak to a friend, a coworker, or even a stranger, not to inform or correct, but simply to share kindness. Notice how it changes the interaction. Notice how it shifts something inside you. Words that are gentle, sincere, and from the heart carry their own quiet magic. They light up spaces, soften hearts, and leave an invisible glow that lingers far longer than the words themselves. So, what does it take to make our words a source of blessing? How can we ensure that what we speak nurtures joy rather than sowing suffering? That's exactly what we are going to explore in this series. Over the next 10 parts, we'll uncover 10 Buddhist insights, practical, timeless wisdoms, that help us cultivate gentle, mindful speech. From honesty to compassion, from timing to restraint, each piece of wisdom shows us a path to let our words become a force for good, both for others and ourselves. Because the truth is this, our mouths are not just instruments for communication, they are gateways to the heart. Every phrase, every sentence, every tone carries the potential to uplift, heal, and inspire. And in a world that often feels hurried and harsh, learning to speak with gentleness is not just a spiritual practice, it is an act of kindness that transforms lives, starting with our own. So as we begin, remember this, even the smallest words, spoken with awareness and care, have the power to sow happiness. And in the coming videos, we'll explore step by step how to cultivate speech that not only expresses kindness but also becomes a source of lasting blessing in the world. Because ultimately, gentle words are not just pleasant to hear, they are the seeds of joy, the reflection of a calm heart, and the quiet miracle of human connection. And that is the journey we are about to embark on. Wisdom 1. Speak the truth. Have you ever noticed how some people naturally inspire trust, while others seem to leave others guessing or second-guessing every word? Often, it's not their charm or intelligence, it's their honesty. The foundation of gentle, meaningful speech is truth. Let me share a simple story. In a small town, there was a boy who stood out, not because he was the fastest, smartest, or most outgoing, but because he always spoke the truth. Sometimes it was difficult. Sometimes it meant admitting he had broken a vase, forgotten a homework assignment, or made a mistake in a game. But he never tried to hide or twist the facts. He simply spoke honestly, from the heart. At first, some of his classmates didn't understand. Why bother admitting it? They would whisper. But over time, something remarkable happened. People began to trust him. Teachers knew he could be relied on, friends confided in him, and even strangers felt a quiet sense of ease around him. His honesty, though simple, became a source of peace, not just for others, but for himself. He didn't carry the weight of lies, excuses, or pretenses. Every word was a reflection of the clarity within his own heart. The Buddha teaches that truthful speech is the cornerstone of right communication. Words are not just sounds, they are expressions of the mind. When our speech aligns with reality and reflects sincerity, it cultivates trust, harmony, and inner calm. Conversely, when words are dishonest or misleading, they create confusion, conflict, and inner tension. In essence, honesty is the soil from which the seeds of gentle, blessed speech grow. Let's pause for a moment. Think about your own life. How often do we bend the truth to avoid discomfort, gain approval, or escape responsibility? Even small distortions can accumulate, creating an invisible barrier between ourselves and others. And yet, even one act of speaking truthfully, especially when it's hard, can transform a relationship, lighten a burden, and strengthen our integrity. Honest speech also has a ripple effect. When others recognize your sincerity, they feel safe, respected, and valued. They are more likely to listen, to open their hearts, and to respond with kindness in return. The beauty of truth is that it doesn't just protect your own inner peace, it encourages the same calm and trust in the world around you. Here's an idea you might try. Tomorrow, speak one truth you might normally avoid. It could be admitting a small mistake, expressing your true feelings, or simply giving a candid compliment. Notice the impact, not just on the person you speak to, but on yourself. Notice how your shoulders relax, your mind clears, and your interactions feel lighter. Truth spoken with gentleness is not harsh. It is freeing, for both the speaker and the listener. We often think of honesty as a rigid moral rule, but in reality, it's a path to genuine connection. When your words reflect your inner truth, they are naturally aligned with compassion, clarity, and respect. This is what makes speech truly gentle. It is not sugar-coated, but it is sincere, mindful, and heartfelt. So, remember this. Gentle words begin with a truthful heart. Every time we choose honesty over convenience, clarity over confusion, or sincerity over pretense, we are sowing seeds of trust, calm, and blessing. In the next part of our journey, we'll explore another essential wisdom: how to speak with compassion, letting kindness shape not just what we say, but the very energy behind our words. Because ultimately, words are more than tools for communication. They are reflections of the mind, expressions of the heart, and seeds of the world we wish to create. Speak the truth, and watch how it quietly transforms your life and the lives of those around you. Wisdom 2. Speak with compassion. Have you ever noticed the quiet power of a gentle word? Sometimes, it's not the grand gestures, not the big speeches or dramatic acts, but a single, compassionate phrase that can change the course of someone's day, or even someone's life. I want to share a story. In a small school, there was a teacher known not for her strictness, but for the warmth in her words. Whenever a student made a mistake, whether they gave the wrong answer, forgot an assignment, or accidentally upset a classmate, she never scolded them harshly. Instead, she would correct them gently, using words that acknowledged their effort and encouraged them to do better. "Thank you for trying," she might say. Or, "It's okay, everyone makes mistakes, let's learn together." At first glance, it seems like ordinary kindness. But there was a profound effect. Students began to trust her, not out of fear, but out of respect and love. They listened more attentively, absorbed lessons more deeply, and even became kinder to each other. The teacher's words had created an environment where learning and growth could flourish. Her compassion had a ripple effect, touching each child's heart and the atmosphere of the entire classroom. This is exactly what the Buddha teaches about speech. Words spoken with compassion are not mere politeness. They are instruments of healing. Compassionate speech can soothe pain, calm anger, and create connection. And the beauty is that it benefits both the speaker and the listener. When we speak with care, we nourish our own heart while also uplifting those around us. Think about it for a moment. How often do we speak to correct or instruct, but without empathy? How often do our words, even unintentionally, cause tension, hurt, or discouragement? And yet, a small shift, speaking with genuine concern, choosing words that heal rather than wound, can completely transform the interaction. One kind word can turn a moment of fear into a moment of trust, a moment of doubt into confidence. Let me share a personal reflection. I remember once giving feedback to a friend on a project. Initially, I focused solely on what needed improvement, pointing out mistakes bluntly. My friend's excitement dimmed, and I noticed the tension in our conversation. Later, I tried again, framing my suggestions with care, acknowledging effort first, and offering guidance gently. The difference was remarkable. Not only did my friend respond positively, but I felt lighter too. My own frustration and judgment melted away. Speaking with compassion doesn't just help others, it frees us from negativity, resentment, and unnecessary tension in our own hearts. Here's a small exercise you can try. The next time you correct, advise, or even criticize, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, can I speak this in a way that uplifts rather than tears down? Can my words be a source of support? Even the tiniest adjustments in tone or phrasing can turn ordinary words into blessings. Compassionate speech also creates trust and deepens connections. People sense authenticity. They sense care. And they respond with openness. Words that come from the heart, words that reflect empathy and understanding, are magnetic. They invite warmth, cooperation, and love into every conversation. So remember, gentle words are powerful, but words spoken with compassion are transformative. They touch the soul, calm the heart, and plant seeds of joy that grow far beyond the moment. When you speak with compassion, you are giving a gift, not just to others, but to yourself. You are practicing kindness that nourishes your own spirit, creating an inner peace that shows on your face, in your presence, and in the energy you bring to the world. In the next part, we will explore another essential wisdom: how mindful speech can protect our words from harm and cultivate clarity in every interaction. But for now, take a moment to reflect. Have your words been a source of comfort, encouragement, and healing? And if not, what small shift can you make today to speak with compassion? Because the truth is this: when our words carry kindness, they don't just communicate, they bless, heal, and illuminate. Gentle words are a form of meditation in action, a living reflection of a heart at peace. And the more we practice speaking with compassion, the more our lives, and the lives of those around us, become touched by grace. Wisdom 3. Speak at the right time. Have you ever noticed how timing can completely change the impact of words? A piece of advice given too soon, a correction offered in anger, or even a kind word spoken when the other person is stressed, sometimes, all of it can backfire. And yet, the same words, spoken at the right moment, can heal, inspire, and transform. Let me share a story. A friend of mine has a remarkable way of communicating with her loved ones. Whenever someone in her family gets upset or angry, she doesn't rush to respond. She doesn't try to explain, correct, or solve the problem immediately. Instead, she listens quietly, giving space and time for emotions to settle. Then, when the atmosphere has calmed and hearts are more receptive, she gently offers advice, encouragement, or perspective. The effect is profound. Because her words come when the listener is ready to hear them, they are not met with resistance or defensiveness. Instead, they land softly, planting seeds of insight and understanding. It's a subtle art, knowing that sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all, until the right moment arrives. The Buddha teaches us that speech, like action, should be mindful. Words are not just tools for expression, they are instruments of influence, and the timing of their delivery can determine whether they cause harm or generate benefit. Speaking too hastily, even with good intentions, can lead to misunderstandings, hurt feelings, or missed opportunities. But speaking with awareness, waiting for the moment when hearts are open, amplifies the positive impact. Pause for a moment and reflect on your own conversations. How often have you spoken out of impulse, only to regret it later? How often have you rushed to give advice, only to find it ignored or even resented? And how might those same words, delivered with patience and awareness, have created connection instead of conflict? Here's a practical insight. Silence itself can be a form of gentle speech. Choosing not to speak immediately is not weakness, it is wisdom. It signals respect for the other person's emotional state and allows your words, when finally spoken, to carry weight and clarity. Imagine calming a storm before guiding a ship to harbor. The same applies to communication. Timing ensures that guidance is not drowned out by the waves of emotion. In daily life, this principle applies everywhere, from family discussions to workplace interactions, from friendships to romantic relationships. A teacher waiting to respond until a student is ready to learn, a friend pausing before giving advice to a stressed companion, even a spouse choosing the right moment to share feelings. All these are ways of practicing mindful, effective speech. I've experienced it personally. In a heated discussion with a colleague, I once blurted out what I thought was an important point, only to see tension rise. Later, after stepping back and waiting, I approached the topic again calmly, and this time my words were received with openness. The difference was the timing. The content hadn't changed, but the impact was completely transformed. So, what can we learn from this? Gentle speech is not just about what we say, it's about when we say it. Knowing when to remain silent, when to speak softly, and when to offer guidance is a profound skill. Patience in speech is a form of compassion, because it considers the emotional state of the listener and the conditions needed for understanding. Remember, silence is not emptiness. It is a space that allows words to become effective, words to become blessings. And when the time is right, the right words, delivered with care, can illuminate hearts, strengthen relationships, and nurture peace within both the speaker and the listener. In essence, speaking at the right time is an art of presence. It asks us to be mindful, to listen deeply, and to respect the unfolding of others' hearts. When practiced, it transforms ordinary communication into a form of meditation in action, an expression of awareness, patience, and gentle wisdom. Next, we will explore how the way we speak, our tone, our energy, and the kindness behind every word, can further enhance the blessings we offer through gentle speech. But for now, reflect on this. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is to wait, to listen, and to let the moment ripen. Timing, after all, is the silent companion of every truly gentle word. Wisdom 4. Positive speech. Have you ever noticed how a simple word of encouragement can completely change someone's day? How a small compliment, a sincere acknowledgement, or a gentle cheer can lift a heavy heart and ignite energy that seemed lost. Words carry power, not just in what they convey, but in the energy they transmit. Positive words can plant seeds of confidence, hope, and joy in the hearts of those who hear them. Let me share a story. In a small office, there's a team leader who has a unique way of guiding her team. Every morning, she makes it a point to offer a few words of encouragement. Sometimes it's a simple, "I believe in you." Other times it's a recognition of a task done well. Her words are never forced. They are genuine and heartfelt. Over time, her team began to respond, not just with productivity, but with enthusiasm, creativity, and cooperation. The atmosphere in the office shifted. There was less stress, less tension, and more energy flowing freely. This story illustrates a profound principle. Positive speech creates positive energy. The Buddha taught that words are not neutral. They can either plant seeds of suffering or seeds of happiness. Words that uplift, affirm, and encourage nourish the mind and heart of the listener. And the beautiful thing is, the benefits do not stop there. Positive speech also uplifts the speaker. When we consciously choose to speak words that inspire and encourage, our own mind aligns with the energy of kindness and hope. Think about your own life. How often do we casually criticize, complain, or focus on what's wrong, sometimes without even realizing it? These words, though seemingly small, can weigh heavily on both the speaker and the listener. Now imagine shifting that same energy into words of encouragement. A tiny phrase like "you've got this" or "I appreciate your effort" can ripple far beyond the moment, touching confidence, motivation, and even the emotional climate of a whole team, family, or group. Here's a practical insight. Speaking positively doesn't mean ignoring challenges or offering hollow praise. It means framing your communication to acknowledge effort, highlight strengths, and nurture hope. For example, instead of saying, "This is not good enough," one could say, "I see your effort here. Let's find a way to make it even better." It's the same reality, but the energy and impact are completely different. Positive speech empowers, rather than discourages. I've experienced this firsthand. Once, during a challenging project, I felt demoralized and exhausted. A colleague simply said, "I know this is tough, but I also know you can handle it." That short sentence shifted something inside me. I felt seen, capable, and motivated. It reminded me that even small positive words can plant resilience and hope in another person's heart. The Buddha's teaching reminds us that speech is a form of karma, a seed we plant. Positive speech is a seed of joy, compassion, and encouragement. It does not just uplift the listener, it transforms the speaker, too. It builds trust, strengthens relationships, and even creates a sense of community and safety. In a world where words are often used carelessly or negatively, consciously choosing positivity is a radical act of mindfulness and compassion. Now, pause for reflection. Consider the people you interact with daily: family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers. How often do you choose words that lift them? How often do you notice the ripple effect of your encouragement? Positive words are contagious. They create an environment where trust, openness, and collaboration flourish. And even beyond human interactions, positive words influence our own inner state, reducing stress, cultivating gratitude, and nurturing a sense of inner calm. So, what can we take away from this? Positive speech is more than politeness or charm. It is a conscious choice to align our words with kindness, hope, and encouragement. Every time you speak positively, you plant a seed of well-being in someone's heart, and in your own. Even a small word, spoken sincerely, can brighten a day, restore confidence, and make life feel a little lighter for both speaker and listener. In essence, positive speech is a practice. Like meditation, it requires attention, mindfulness, and consistency. But the rewards are profound. Through the simple act of choosing our words carefully, we cultivate a space of trust, joy, and shared humanity. It's a reminder that every conversation, no matter how small, holds the potential to bless, uplift, and transform. Next, we will explore how gentle speech, words that are both kind and mindful, can further amplify the blessings of positive speech, creating harmony in every interaction. But for now, reflect on this. Your words have power. Every phrase you choose to uplift, encourage, and affirm carries the ability to illuminate hearts and inspire hope. And that, ultimately, is the heart of speaking with positivity. Wisdom 5. Humble speech. Have you ever met someone so accomplished that you expect them to boast, yet when they speak, their words are simple, grounded, and humble? There's a quiet power in humility. Words spoken with modesty carry a weight that commands respect without demanding it. They draw people in, create trust, and foster genuine connection. Humble speech doesn't shout, it resonates. Let me tell you a story. There's a successful entrepreneur, well known for building a thriving business and inspiring countless people. Yet, whenever he talks about his achievements, he never brags. He shares his experiences as lessons, speaks in plain, approachable language, and always acknowledges the contributions of others. When you listen to him, you don't feel intimidated or judged. You feel encouraged, understood, and even motivated to learn. His humility amplifies the impact of his words. People naturally respect and admire him, not because of his wealth or status, but because of the warmth and sincerity his speech conveys. This story beautifully illustrates a timeless teaching. Humility is the essence of gentle speech. The Buddha emphasized that words are not just sounds, they are reflections of the mind. When pride or arrogance infiltrates our words, it creates subtle barriers, even if we are trying to inspire or instruct. On the other hand, humble speech softens hearts, opens doors for dialogue, and fosters goodwill. It transforms ordinary conversation into a channel for blessings. Think about your own experiences. How often do we encounter people who flaunt achievements or speak with superiority? Even if they are knowledgeable, their words can feel heavy, distant, or unapproachable. Now imagine a shift. Instead of showing off, we speak from a place of humility. We acknowledge what we don't know, appreciate the contributions of others, and share our insights without attaching our self-worth to them. Instantly, the energy changes. Our words become inviting rather than imposing, and those who hear us feel valued, respected, and inspired. Humility in speech also benefits the speaker. When we let go of ego-driven language, we free ourselves from the constant need for validation or recognition. This allows us to communicate more clearly, to listen more attentively, and to connect more genuinely. Words spoken from humility carry authenticity, and authenticity is magnetic. People naturally trust it. They are more receptive, more open, and more willing to engage in meaningful conversation. In a world where many voices compete to be heard, humble speech stands out precisely because it is unassuming yet powerful. Here's an insight you might not have considered. Humility doesn't mean self-deprecation or silence. It means aligning your words with truth, empathy, and awareness, without seeking to elevate yourself above others. It is an inner stance that reflects in your voice, tone, and choice of words. For example, instead of saying, "I know the answer," a humble approach could be, "Here's what I've learned. I'd love to hear your thoughts." That simple shift transforms dialogue from assertion to collaboration, from instruction to shared growth. From my personal experience, I've noticed that conversations with humble speakers leave a lingering sense of calm and openness. You feel lighter, more engaged, and more confident in your own voice. Humble words encourage participation, invite reflection, and often spark creativity. They plant seeds of goodwill that can grow into lasting respect, trust, and deeper relationships. So, What can we take away from this wisdom? Humility in speech is not weakness. It is a strength that enhances the value of our words. When our speech is humble, it becomes a source of blessing for both the speaker and the listener. It softens hearts, builds bridges, and creates a fertile ground for understanding and connection. Humble speech fosters an environment where people feel seen, appreciated, and empowered. And ultimately, the power of our words is measured not by how loud we speak, but by how much they uplift and nurture those who hear them. As we continue this journey through the 10 Buddhist wisdoms of gentle speech, remember this: humility transforms ordinary words into a quiet force for good. Next, we will explore mindful speech, how being fully present when we speak can magnify the blessings of our words even further. But for now, pause and reflect. When you speak humbly, you are not diminishing yourself. You are elevating your words, your relationships, and your own inner peace. Wisdom 6. Skillful speech. Have you ever noticed how some people can speak in a way that immediately eases tension, even in difficult situations? They don't raise their voice, they don't demand attention, yet somehow, their words carry clarity, respect, and influence. That is the art of skillful speech. It's not about cleverness or manipulation. It's about choosing words thoughtfully, being mindful of timing, and speaking in ways that promote understanding and harmony. Let me share a story. There was a diplomat tasked with mediating a tense negotiation between two opposing communities. Tempers flared, accusations flew, and it seemed impossible to find common ground. But instead of responding impulsively, the diplomat listened carefully, chose each word with intention, and framed statements in a way that acknowledged both sides' perspectives. Slowly, the atmosphere shifted. People felt heard rather than judged. Barriers softened. By the end of the meeting, the two sides found a solution they could agree on. The key wasn't charisma or authority. It was skillful, mindful speech that created a space for dialogue and reconciliation. This story reflects an essential teaching. Our words have the power to create either misunderstanding or connection. The Buddha emphasized that unskillful speech, rash, harsh, or careless, can plant seeds of conflict and suffering. Skillful speech, on the other hand, builds bridges, fosters understanding, and nurtures goodwill. It's a form of mindfulness applied to communication, noticing the impact of our words before we speak, and aligning our language with compassion and clarity. Think about your own life. How often do arguments escalate because someone spoke too quickly or without consideration? How many times have misunderstandings arisen simply from poor word choice or a harsh tone? Skillful speech doesn't require perfect phrasing or eloquence. It requires awareness and care. Even small adjustments, like softening a critique or phrasing a suggestion gently, can completely transform a conversation. Skillful speech also invites reflection on timing. Sometimes, what we say matters less than when we say it. A kind comment offered at the wrong moment might be ignored or misunderstood, whereas the same words, delivered at the right time, can heal and inspire. There is a subtle wisdom in pausing, observing, and then responding thoughtfully. This patience is part of the gift of skillful speech. It shows respect not only for others but also for the power and responsibility of our own words. From my experience, conversations guided by skillful speech leave a lingering sense of ease and trust. People feel safe to share, open to listen, and willing to collaborate. In families, workplaces, or communities, the practice of mindful, skillful communication can prevent conflicts, deepen relationships, and foster a more harmonious environment. Here's an insight you might not have considered. Skillful speech requires humility, presence, and empathy. It's not about impressing others or winning arguments. It's about choosing words that uplift, clarify, and connect. Even in disagreements, skillful speech turns moments of tension into opportunities for understanding. It transforms ordinary exchanges into acts of compassion. So, what can we take away from this wisdom? Words are powerful instruments. When we speak with skill, awareness, and care, we avoid unnecessary harm, nurture harmony, and make our speech a source of blessings for both ourselves and those who hear us. Skillful speech is a quiet art. It doesn't demand attention, but its effects are profound and lasting. As we continue exploring the 10 Buddhist wisdoms for gentle speech, remember this: being mindful of how and when we speak enhances the power of our words. In the next section, we'll delve into mindful listening, how paying close attention to others can make our speech even more effective and compassionate. For now, reflect. How might your words change if you always chose them with care, considering both meaning and timing? Wisdom 7. Words that teach. Have you ever had a teacher whose words stayed with you long after the lesson ended? Not because they shouted, or because their knowledge was grand, but because their words were gentle, precise, and full of care. That is the quiet power of words that teach. A single phrase, spoken with clarity and kindness, can ignite understanding, spark insight, and leave a lasting mark on the heart. Let me share a story. There was a meditation teacher who guided his students not with long lectures, but with simple, thoughtful remarks. When a student struggled with frustration during meditation, instead of scolding or lecturing, the teacher leaned in and said softly, "Notice the breath. Don't fight it, just be with it." That simple guidance, spoken with warmth and patience, helped the student transform agitation into calm. Years later, that student would recall those words in moments of challenge, and they would always bring clarity and peace. The teacher didn't just transmit knowledge, he planted seeds of understanding that would grow over a lifetime. This story illustrates a timeless principle. When teaching or guiding others, the tone and intention behind our words are as important as the content itself. The Buddha emphasized that words spoken with gentleness and awareness carry lasting benefits, not only for the listener but also for the speaker. Every word we use to guide, instruct, or inspire, if spoken with care, becomes a seed, sometimes small, sometimes subtle, but always capable of growing into wisdom and virtue over time. Consider your own experience. How often have we remembered a teacher, mentor, or even a friend, simply because of the way they explained something, not what they said, but how they said it? Words that are harsh, impatient, or rushed often leave no lasting impression, or worse, they leave resentment. Words spoken with mindfulness, however, can become guiding lights, shaping behavior, inspiring reflection, and cultivating insight long after the conversation ends. Here's an important insight. Teaching with gentle speech requires not only skill but also empathy and presence. It asks us to sense where the listener is in their understanding, to meet them at that level, and to communicate in ways that are both clear and compassionate. Sometimes, it's not about explaining everything at once. It's about offering small, precise guidance that can be absorbed, reflected upon, and integrated gradually. Like planting seeds in fertile soil, patience and care are essential. Beyond formal teaching, this wisdom applies to every interaction where we influence or guide others, our children, colleagues, friends, even strangers. A word of encouragement spoken kindly to someone learning a new skill, a gentle correction offered without judgment, or a suggestion given with respect, all of these carry the potential to inspire growth. The real power lies in the subtlety and intention behind the speech, not in volume or authority. Reflect for a moment. If we treated every word we speak to others as a seed, what kind of garden would we cultivate? Would our conversations nurture understanding, patience, and clarity, or would they sow confusion, irritation, or doubt? Skillful, gentle teaching transforms ordinary exchanges into opportunities for growth. It turns moments of instruction into moments of blessing. It allows our speech to become a vehicle not only for knowledge but also for compassion, presence, and enduring influence. So, what can we take away from this wisdom today? Words that teach, when spoken with care and gentleness, plant seeds of insight and virtue that last a lifetime. They remind us that the most powerful lessons often come not from authority or force, but from kindness, clarity, and awareness. Gentle words guide the mind, calm the heart, and cultivate understanding in ways that endure far beyond the moment of speaking. They are a form of blessing, subtle, profound, and transformative. As we continue exploring the 10 Buddhist wisdoms for gentle speech, remember this: every word you speak has potential. Every conversation is an opportunity to plant seeds of understanding. Let your words teach with gentleness, and watch how wisdom and compassion grow, quietly but surely, in the hearts of those who hear them. Wisdom 8. The power of silent speech. Have you ever noticed how some people speak so little, yet everything they say seems to carry weight, depth, and calm? There's a quiet power in words that are carefully chosen, spoken sparingly, and delivered with awareness. This is the essence of silent speech, or as the Buddha might put it, the art of speaking with mindfulness. Let me share a story. There was a meditation master known for his quiet demeanor. He rarely spoke, and when he did, each sentence seemed to hang in the air like a gentle bell. Students would leave his talks not just with new knowledge, but with a sense of calm and clarity that lingered long after the words had faded. One student recalled, "Even a single phrase from him could dissolve the noise in my mind and remind me of what truly matters." The master's secret wasn't mystery, it was the mastery of silence. By choosing words carefully, speaking less, and speaking with presence, he allowed each word to carry its full weight. This story highlights an essential principle. Sometimes, saying less is far more powerful than speaking a lot. In a world where we are constantly bombarded by noise, emails, social media, chatter, and opinions, our words can either add to the chaos or become a source of calm. When we speak less, we are forced to be mindful of each word, and the energy behind that word becomes stronger. A simple, truthful, and kind statement can leave a more lasting impact than hours of careless talk. Think about your own life for a moment. How often do we speak simply to fill silence, or to react immediately, without considering the effect of our words? And yet, those who practice restraint, who pause before responding, often carry an aura of peace and credibility that is almost magnetic. Silent speech is not just about holding back. It is about choosing the right moment, the right tone, and the right words to communicate meaningfully. In the teachings of the Buddha, silence is deeply valued. It is a form of mindfulness. It is a reminder that our words are tools, not weapons. Each word carries energy, and the energy of words spoken without thought can easily harm or distract. On the other hand, words spoken with care, or even the decision to remain silent, can create harmony, understanding, and even healing. This is why silence is a vital part of gentle speech. It gives our words space to breathe, allows listeners to absorb meaning, and encourages reflection. It teaches us patience, not only with others, but also with ourselves. And it shows that communication is not measured by quantity, but by quality and intention. Consider this. When we speak less and with intention, our words become like seeds planted in fertile soil. Each seed has the potential to grow into understanding, insight, and compassion. We become more aware of our own mind, more sensitive to the feelings of others, and more capable of expressing wisdom in its most elegant form. Even a single kind, thoughtful, or truthful word can ripple outward, touching hearts and inspiring change. Silent speech also cultivates a certain charisma, not the kind that demands attention, but the kind that naturally draws people in. It's the calm confidence of someone who listens deeply and speaks only when it matters, the subtle energy that makes others feel safe, valued, and understood. When we combine silence with mindfulness, our words gain authority, clarity, and profound influence. So, what can we take from this today? Words are not just about filling space, they are about creating presence. Sometimes, the greatest gift we can give is not more words, but the courage to speak less, to choose carefully, and to speak with heart and awareness. Impeccable silence becomes part of our gentle speech. It's a form of blessing, a vehicle for peace, and a path toward cultivating calm in ourselves and those around us. As we continue exploring the 10 Buddhist wisdoms for gentle speech, remember this: speaking less is not weakness, it is wisdom. Silence amplifies the power of your words. Each thoughtful word can plant seeds of calm, understanding, and insight. And in learning the art of silent speech, we discover that sometimes the most profound impact comes not from how much we say, but from how mindfully we choose to speak. Wisdom 9 and 10. Words from a peaceful heart, spreading blessings. Have you ever met someone whose words seem to carry a gentle light? Not flashy, not loud, but quiet, calm, and somehow profoundly reassuring? That is the power of words born from a peaceful heart. The kind of words that touch not only the ears but also the heart, leaving a subtle yet lasting blessing in their wake. Let me share a story. There was an elderly meditation master, well known not for his age or physical appearance, but for the presence he carried in every interaction. People would come to him seeking advice, and even brief conversations would leave them feeling lighter, calmer, as if a gentle wave had washed over their minds. What was remarkable wasn't what he said, but the serenity from which his words came. Every sentence, every gesture, radiated patience, compassion, and insight. Those who listened often felt both understood and uplifted, inspired to reflect more deeply on their own lives. This brings us to an essential teaching. When our mind is calm, our words naturally become kind and beneficial. In Buddhism, this is a reflection of a mind free from agitation and ego. Peace within translates into harmony without. A person who speaks from this state doesn't need to force kindness or wisdom. It flows effortlessly. And the impact is profound. Words spoken from a calm, compassionate heart can soothe anxieties, resolve conflicts, and plant seeds of insight in ways that impatient or harsh words never could. Think for a moment about your own experiences. Have you noticed how someone speaking in haste or irritation can leave tension behind, while someone who speaks slowly, thoughtfully, and kindly can make you feel safe and inspired? Our words are mirrors of our inner state. If we cultivate peace, patience, and clarity within, our words will naturally carry these qualities. This is why mindfulness and meditation are not just personal practices. They are essential tools for nurturing speech that blesses others. Here's another perspective. Words from a peaceful heart don't only comfort or guide, they also spread what can be called living blessings. Every compassionate word plants a subtle seed. Over time, these seeds grow, not only in the minds and hearts of those we speak to, but also within ourselves. Speaking from a calm heart helps us maintain balance, reduces stress, and deepens our understanding of others. It's a self-reinforcing cycle of wisdom and kindness, showing that true communication is as much about inner transformation as it is about outward expression. Consider the image of a ripple in a still pond. A single drop, gentle and intentional, spreads outward, touching everything it encounters. This is what happens when words are spoken from a heart at peace. The effect isn't always immediate or dramatic, but subtle and enduring. It shapes the energy of a room, the mood of a conversation, and even the culture of a community. Words from agitation may erupt, but words from serenity last. They leave behind a resonance of calm and understanding. So, what practical steps can we take to cultivate this quality in our speech? First, spend time nurturing inner calm, through meditation, reflection, or simply pausing throughout your day to breathe deeply and center yourself. Second, practice listening fully before speaking. Often, silence first allows understanding to grow, and the right words to emerge naturally. Finally, allow kindness and wisdom to guide your choice of words. Speak with intention, with awareness of their impact, and from a heart that is grounded and peaceful. Ultimately, this is the culmination of the 10 Buddhist wisdoms for gentle speech. Words from a peaceful heart are more than polite expressions. They are blessings. They are gifts that can comfort, heal, and inspire. They show that beauty in speech is inseparable from beauty in mind and heart. When we speak this way, we are not just communicating. We are cultivating a presence that radiates peace and wisdom, creating a legacy that touches people long after the conversation ends. So remember, gentle speech is not only about what we say, but how and from where we speak. A calm heart naturally produces gentle words naturally sow blessings. And from this awareness, we can begin to speak in ways that are truly transformative, for ourselves and for everyone who hears us. Words that come from peace are beautiful not just to the ear, but to the heart. And in that beauty, blessings flow.